We live in an experience economy, as Pine and Gilmore once said. In fact, they still say that. And nothing says experience like a virtual presentation in PowerPoint. But in all reality, we live in an era where the experiences that people have, and more so that they share, define the impressions and perceptions and the expressions of the next person. The whole idea of an experience economy isn't just can you create a product that is an experience. It is also to create an experience that is worth having and sharing. We live in a time where your brand is defined by the experiences that people have and what they share, and the culmination of what people share is that shared experience. It is your brand. And when you look online, when you read stories, when you talk to experts, everybody is saying the same thing. People don't want to buy products. They don't want to buy stuff. They don't subscribe to the tradition of brand the way that they used to. What's happening today is that people are front and center of the experiences that they want to have and that they want you to see. They want you to live with them, through them, for you to do that to your audience, who also has an audience that has an audience of audiences. And this is what makes these times so interesting. If you look at the pillars of what the modern brand should be or could be, that involves brand, design, technology, service, customer, employee, experience. These are the pillars of which to build your business for a modern and connected era. But the word experience that you've heard a million times in this conference already, and you'll hear many more times today, the word experience is exactly where we need to start to unpack, to understand what matters and why. Because brand experience, customer experience, employee experience, service design, you name it, all of these things aren't just tactics for our roadmap. They are the very things that bring to life what people feel and what people share. That takes architecture, that takes design, that takes intent. And this is where I see so many companies miss their opportunities, is that experience is everything. I mean, I want you to think, like, close your eyes, and I want you to think about that last great experience that you had. And what was it? What was it about it that you'll never forget? How did it change you? What did you tell other people? Because that takes design. And I think so many businesses today leave those experiences, those moments, to chance. But we don't have to. But this is the hard part. Right now, we have to learn. We have to learn not only what it takes to design experiences, but we have to learn what's different about the world, because the experiences that you love and the experiences that I love and the experiences that we want other people to have, love, and share, well, they're personal. And the one thing that's always consistent about things when they're personal is they're always going to be different. So we have a lot to learn to see the world not just as us or who we are, but as the world is. And this is where we get into trouble. At the same time, I'm a hopeless optimist, so this is where we have an opportunity to think differently. We have to learn and also unlearn. Every time we think about our strategy, whether you're in product, whether you're in IT, whether you're in design, whether you're in creative, advertising, marketing, customer service, whatever it is, we have standards that we have to operate against. We've been brought up in life, we've been taught in school, we've been conditioned at work to perform against these standards. But think about when those standards were defined. Those standards were defined in an era that is nothing like today. And here we are trying to live up to these standards, these legacy protocols, these legacy policies and processes that are so outdated that they put us in a risk or situation of risk where we miss every opportunity to engage people the way that they value. And this is why unlearning is probably the best thing you can do in moving forward when you think about experience design. So let's take a step back and let's get back to basics. That's an expression that I've not really been a big fan of, but I can't think of a better one for right now. We have to kind of start by taking a step back, taking a view of the landscape so that we could move forward. So let's start with what is brand. Brand is something we throw around all the time. We think about the most popular brands ever, whether it's Apple or Nike or Disney or whoever just keeps competing at the front, it doesn't matter. But here's what matters: brand experience. So I think what happened today is that customers and employees have gotten ahead of branding, marketing, service design, et cetera. They've just become so connected, so empowered, so informed that we have to think about how to engage them better. Brand experience is when you connect to someone at an emotional level, when you get inside of who they are, when you understand how a brand can make them feel something, can help them achieve an aspiration or an outcome or a goal. And more so because it aligns with who they are or who they want to be. And that's deep, right? But it's also experience. So another term that's thrown out quite a bit is customer experience. All these things are starting to converge together, but what is customer experience? Well, it turns out that you can only understand what customer experience is when you look at it from the customer's perspective. Right now we're thinking about cloud and we're thinking about all kinds of apps and services and touch points about delivering modern experiences, but that's not what a customer experience is. A customer experience is only defined by what they feel, what they do in these moments. Each moment and the sum of those moments is the customer experience. So what is the customer experience? Well, I think this is where all of experience design can learn from, is today's traditional user experience philosophies and understanding how someone's going to interact with your brand experience, how someone's going to interact with your touch points, and design it to the point where each moment collectively enhances and complements other moments to deliver the greater experience. And this is the construct of experience architecture. And look, I get it. Makes sense. Maybe too much sense. Maybe it's too commonsensical, but I can promise you the one thing that I've learned in life is that common sense is the most uncommon thing you will find. Today, businesses do not have departments that collaborate. Customer service, marketing, advertising, social media, mobile design, app, web, all of these things are different. Yet the customer has to navigate all of these things and form their own opinion and impressions. So again, we leave those experiences to chance. So there's that word again, experience. So what does it mean? Turns out it's, again, common sense, but I think we miss that in a lot of our work. Experience is an emotion. It's how people feel. It's what they sense, and it can be measured in what they do or how they react. And if we leave those to chances, then they're going to react in ways that are beyond our control. And I'm not saying to manipulate the customer experience. I'm saying to inspire it, to bring it to life, to empower it in ways that align with how human beings live today. Because what is life if it is not about the experiences that we have and that we love? And I think what's happening with technology today, as crazy as it is, AR, VR, AI, autonomous, you name it, it is in its own way bringing to life new experiences, those experiences that we have and share. And relationships, especially online and in the real world, are starting to come together based on those experiences that people have and share and love and want to have and have again. And I think that the greatest brands are going to be those that design for the assemblage of those experiences. If you just look today, online, on any network, you'll see how technology is bringing people together and how that's changing self-expression, how that's changing self-identity, how it's changing self-politics, everything. But there's a beauty in that. And I think that's a beauty of which we can design, because people are going to have experiences whether you design them or not. And experiences can be bad or they can be good. They can be meh, but who cares about those? And who cares, who wants bad experiences? But whether they're bad or whether they're good, they are going to convert into memories. People are going to have and hold on to those memories, and they're going to share them. And they're going to become the experiences and memories of others. This, to me, is at the heart of what an experience economy could be. And I think all things have to start with you understanding what the experience is that you deliver today, not against yesterday's standards, but understanding that in a connected society, what are people experiencing in every moment? I call this the cluster funnel, because how we sell, market, everything, serve today is designed in silos. They're designed with legacy standards. In many cases, they're designed upon legacy technologies of which we're adapting for with new stuff as we go. But that creates, well, the ketchup bottle issue. We get so caught up in our day-to-day routines. I often say that I try to be innovative or creative, but I got stuck in meetings all day. When we find every reason to not break the mold, to start with a blank slate. And look at ketchup. I mean, we live, whether you like ketchup or not, I mean, just metaphorically speaking, if you have a bottle with a thick substance within it, with a narrow opening, how are you going to get it out? Well, everybody has a strategy for that. Well, you just have to shake it, or you have to hit it on the soft part of your palm. Oh, no, take a knife. That's how you do it. We find all of these excuses for bad experiences without thinking about, well, wait a minute, what if we, I don't know, designed a better experience, knowing that people are going through all of these obstacles to get ketchup or to get that substance. What if we just applied, I don't know, gravity and a light squeeze? It's the difference between designing the product or designing for the touch point and designing for the experience, right? It's design versus user experience. We have to think about the user, which in its own way, user experience is not the best title. So let's just think about experience, or the human experience, because that starts with perspective. We have to be able to see things through the eyes and feel things through the hearts and the minds of someone else, not us. We are in the way. Our psychology, our upbringing, our own personal experiences are in the way of delivering experiences that people want to have, that other people want to share. Think about the website. We haven't reimagined it since really the 1990s. Most websites suck. Look, I say that lovingly, maybe not so much. But they're still rooted in 1990s principles. They are digital brochures, and then what do? Well, we designed it so that it could be better for the mobile screen. Okay, that sounds fantastic. Or we think about what the experience is that people are having in the real world. If you've ever used Uber or Airbnb or whatever your favorite delivery app is, these are things that you start to learn simplify your life. Enhance your life, give you things as you want them quickly. They're just simplified for moments for the experiences that you want to have. And this is what is so important about right now, is that you compete against Uber. You compete against Airbnb. Even if it's not in your industry, that is the standard. You compete against Google. You compete against Twitter, Instagram, because these are the standards of experience that people have and they love and they share. And as a result, they're becoming so much more impatient that what we need to start to design for isn't just a mobile screen. It's, well, what is the mobile device doing to you as a human being? It's teaching you that you could have things faster, quicker, in demand, on the moment, wherever, whenever. But it's also teaching us that how we talk, how we interact, how we engage people has to be meaningful to them, because they've gotten ahead of us. They're not waiting for our marketing messages. They're not waiting for our advertisements. They're not waiting for us to tell them what we have to sell. They are looking for information, looking for value, looking for insights, looking for shared experiences, looking for people to help validate their decisions and make their next steps. Innovation in what you do in experience design is something that just begins with mindset and perspective. It's something you feel, just like the experiences that people love and what they feel. And we have to take action on that. Mobile is probably, I call it the golden triangle. It's mobile, social, and real time. These three things have completely redesigned the opportunity for experiences and what we have to compete against. But just think about the mobile device. I mean, most of us look at our devices 1,500 times a week. That adds up to about 177 minutes every day. And when we're doing that, we're getting much better at finding information. We're getting really good at sharing information. We're learning how to interact with the screen differently. We're literally reprogramming our brains, so the experiences that we have to design for have to cater to a human being that is different than what our processes, our policies, our current customer journey allow for today. Think about experience design in this one picture. In this picture, you see whatever you want to see. Most executives I know see the older woman in the front row. They see her because she represents the customer and the employee and the respective markets that they know. That's what we designed for. Think about all of the processes. Think about the business models that you operate in today. They were designed when she was young. But look at everybody around her with their phones in the air. Whatever's happening in this moment right now, everyone is in their own way experiencing it. As a brand, you would want to cater to everyone, not just the person who's going to enjoy it, but to everyone who's going to experience it and share it. It makes the moment bigger than the real world. All it takes is a shift in perspective to say, wow, what about this? Look at that person there in the front row. She's so selfish, not sharing this special moment with all of her Facebook friends that couldn't be there. That is an example of experiences that we can design that people have and that people share. It's like talking to and through someone at the same time. It makes the moment so much bigger. But the same thing is happening everywhere. People are starting to learn that technology is part of their life. And it's not even that they're starting to learn it. It is literally an appendage. Mobile devices, social networks, apps, services. I mean, this is a real sidewalk in China. You choose one side or the other. I can tell you that most people are walking around with their phones so many times that this city here in the Netherlands had to redesign the pedestrian crosswalk to put the light down on the sidewalk because people are too busy texting and walking. Look, I know some people, I could imagine the conversation here when they're thinking about design. They're like, well, we could chalk this up to natural selection. Just let people walk into the crosswalk and get hit by cars and bicycles, or design for how life is changing. And I think that's where we have to go, because it's not going backwards. It is not going backwards. In fact, we're on the cusp of AR and BR and whatever's next, which means that we're going to constantly see life through screens, and it's going to bring to life things that aren't what our eyes are going to naturally see. But what this is doing, and why this is important? It's creating a market of accidental narcissists. I say that lovingly. It's just that we get what we want when we want it, how we want it. We're becoming more connected, more informed, more empowered, more demanding, more elusive. That takes a new type of design of which we have to see differently. And I believe that mindset is everything. That experience design asks you to change, to conform to the expectations of what connected customers or accidental narcissists want and expect, what they love, what they want to share. Not your legacy processes and standards and touch points. And I think that's where we get into so much trouble, because once you have an experience that you love as a consumer, regardless of the app or service or network, it is the standard for everything. Yeah, you compete with Snapchat. You compete with all of these other companies. You can't just design for this one moment or make that little feature in your app or your website. It's got to be everything that caters to this new mindset. I call that the embrace. That is understanding that the ability to get someone's attention accounts for everything. And once you have it, you have to design for that moment. And a connected moment, the expectations are different than how we play things out. I mean, if you think about the ketchup bottle, or think about an iPad, think about giving that to a 1-year-old baby or asking a 4-year-old to change the channel on TV. Their brain is naturally going to see things differently. But a lot of the stuff that we create today was based on an analog world. So for us, an iPad is cool because, well, hey, we could turn digital pages as we're reading a book. But to a child, if you give them a book or magazine after the iPad, to them, they have to go backwards. Their brain just doesn't fire that way. So designing for connected experiences means that we have to break out of the remote control problem, where iteration versus innovation are two very different things. So for example, here with the remote control, every time there's a new feature, we just add another button to it. Now, on average, there's 70 buttons on the remote control, which is ridiculous. This is a parking sign in New York. I want you to think about the moment you actually have to read it. I don't think anybody who designed this actually did that. This is what happens when we just design or when we create. But they beget experiences. And so New York said, let's reinvent the parking sign. And so they went through this whole creative process. And what they came up with is a parking sign. I mean, granted, it's cleaner. But what if we looked at how the consumer today needs to see things? What if we reinvented the parking sign for a connected society to deliver an experience that the way that someone else would intuitively or naturally love? Or not even think about it. And I think that's the beauty of experience design, is that it's this aspect of storytelling and user-centered design that could bring to life experience architecture, of which pushes us beyond the 4 Ps of marketing, that adds things like people, purpose, promise, personalization. And with that, I think we could learn a lot from Disney. Disney was all about service design, user experience, brand experience, and I think that today we rely so much on brand style guides and legal approved messages, siloed approaches, that maybe now's the time to just focus on an experience style guide. I think that an experience style guide, to be honest with you, is going to force us to think about the experiences that we want people to have and that we want people to share in every moment and the sum of those moments. And this brings me to this thought. Not 100% fleshed out. I mean, some of you are going to get the book X, When Experience Meets Design, and the whole book itself was sort of this assemblage of what you see here. Is when you go through the storyboarding process, like I actually studied through Pixar, you learn who the audience is, you learn how to create these characters, and you learn how to bring them to life in ways that are going to be believable, authentic, and engaging and inspiring, and that helps you create the story arc of which I believe could become the brand experience, which becomes the soul of the experience style guide, of which then you can take that standard and design the customer experience strategy, of which then you can use to bring to life how people interact through each one of those moments in the customer journey, of which then what people experience and what people share becomes the brand. It's reverse engineering the entire premise of what a brand could and should be. And when you look at the customer journey, you realize it's not a funnel at all. It's alive, it's breathing, it's always changing, it's dynamic. And therein lies the opportunity for each moment to have an experience designed for it, to come to life in ways that matter in each moment, and ways that come together in the sum of those moments to deliver the experience. The experience. It's a friend of mine who designed this cartoon. His name is Hugh McLeod, and we've done a lot of cartoons together because I feel like cartoons can inspire people in ways that messages and agenda and propaganda can't. I mean, cartoons are just cartoons. And this is one that I believe sums up this presentation, that in an era of machines and technology and whatever's next, that humanity is the killer app. Designed for humans, designed for people, designed for the experiences you want people to feel and share, because that becomes the brand for the future, right now, but that also defines the experience economy. Thank you so much for watching me on screen. I wish I could be there, but go and change the world. Thank you.